So how do you then trickle that down to, you I don't know the structure of your business, but you're talking about you, and then you have a layer of leadership, and you have a
Mhm.
layer of, um, you know, project implementer, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, designers, developers, project managers. But like, how do you let that trickle down to them? I mean, I don't imagine. I know you. I don't imagine it's like, hey, everyone needs to be like me.
No, no, that
But I
doesn't work.
do know you, and I do imagine you do have a level of expectation that everybody has their shit together.
Yo, yeah, yeah. Well, it's the deals you make, right?
Okay.
It's the expectations, right?
Yeah.
Clarity is kindness, and you set clear expectations.
Yeah.
One of the biggest expectations that I have with my team is you're going to do what you say you're going to do. I'm not going to tell you the deadline of something. I'm going to ask you when this is going to be done.
Right.
Your job is to tell me accurately and be honestly when it can be done.
Right.
And my expectation then, if we have agreed upon deadline for something, is that if I don't hear from you, it will
Yeah.
be done by when we agreed.
Right.
I do not, the thing that drives me bonkers is when deadlines go whizzing by my head and I don't
Yeah.
know about it. If
Yeah.
something legitimately happens and you're being intentional about getting it done,
You
you can
should
say, you can
y'all
let me
know.
know beforehand.
Yeah.
And if you tell me, hey, this happened, this thing we agreed upon is going to push out a week, I'm like, oh, good, that
Yeah.
great, right? Or
Everyone's cool. Yeah.
right, or man, that's really a dependent thing. Can we talk about priority real quick, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the th- that's my expectation for how I want to manage people because I'm not a micromanager. I do not want to tell people how to do their job. They will not do it like I will, and that's fine. I will not
Right.
do it like them. My gifts and my limitations are different than their gifts and limitations. And if I've
Yeah.
actually surrounded myself with the right people, they're going to be real different than me,
Yeah.
and that's
Right. Right.
actually a
That's that
blessing.
whole, if you're the smartest person in the room, get in another room
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Um, how do you deal with not micromanaging people? Is it just like, is it something that Rob doesn't do? Or is it like, because I mean, I'm not a micromanager either, but it don't mean I don't worry about that stuff.
Uh, I don't worry a lot as a general rule, and I
Okay.
don't I don't know why. I just don't. Um, the other thing is
Do you think that's maybe because you came up doing the work? So,
maybe
I mean, so just your path was, I mean, you were a developer, you did the work, you worked up to management, you started your own business, you did work in the business, managed projects in the business, the sales in the business, and now you're the president, CEO, whatever you want to call it, of the business. Like, do you think it's because that's the path?
I I think it's more gets back down to that trust thing. I trust the people that work for me are also good at their job. That's why
Yeah.
they're here. And every single person that ever has been hired at Sparkbox, and I've interviewed every single one of them um, over the years, all couple hundred people that we've ended
Yeah.
up employing, has heard me say the following: I'm not going to be your babysitter, and if you need one, you won't be happy here. And if it comes down to it,
Right.
if we have to choose, I get to stay.
Yeah. Well, it's ideally the perfect scenario. Yes.
Yeah. So
Right.
like it's we've been really like hiring on values and hiring people that want that autonomy and that trust and uh,
Mm,
that stewardship kind of delegation model
right.
has always been a priority. So when you have people who want to take
I like that.
both responsibility and
Yeah.
accountability,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
those two things go hand in hand. People
Yeah.
will always say they want more responsibility, and my first response is always, if you want more responsibility, let's define what kind of accountability you need to go with it. You cannot
Mm,
have one without the other. And if
right.
you think you can, then you've missed the boat.
Wow. I like that. I like that, stewardship model. I've never heard that before. I'm gonna credit you with inventing that, but, uh,
Don't credit me. Seven Habits of Highly Effective
oh,
People
is
is
it? Okay.
yeah,
Okay. But I like that idea of that versus straight up, like, managing someone.
yeah,
There's nothing worse than, like, coming in and having to worry about filling someone's day.
yeah.
That, like, shoot me. Like, oh my gosh.
Don't want to do it. That's not
Yeah. Nah.
like and that's that's the they in that book they talk about two different models, right? The gopher model, which
Right.
is go do this and come back and tell me. That makes me responsible for the outcome.
Yeah.
Or the stewardship model, which is we define SMART goals, we define what resources I'm giving you. We ask, then we say, when can this be done? We agree upon a deadline and then
Yeah.
say, how can I help you achieve those? What do you need from me?
Let me ask you this. How do you we're talking about expectations and holding people accountable. How do you then hold them to a level of quality? I find that's the most difficult thing. I feel like I'm getting a lot of therapy here from you.
It's
I
okay.
appreciate
Well,
it.
no, no, always.
Do not send me an invoice, by the
Yeah,
way.
I will not send you
Um,
an
I'm
invoice.
just kidding.
Or really? No, kidding. No. How do you hold people responsible for quality? I think that gets back to making sure you're hiring people in line with your values
Okay.
and knowing what kind of stuff they produce, right?
Yeah.
And you put in systems that nobody wants to show up with bad quality stuff,
Mm,
right? Because what I think you have to get to the root of why bad quality sometimes shows up. Is it because there's
okay.
not enough time? Because not enough resources? Because you don't care? Because something happened?
Mhm.
Right? And each one of those has a different solve, right?
Right.
Like, not enough time. Well, why wasn't there enough time? I'm not assigning deadlines. You told me what the
Right.
deadline was.
Right.
Did something happen? Okay, did we not communicate about that in a reasonable amount of time so that we could change the realities and have more quality?